everyone, and welcome back to my podcast, The Lonely Fake Club. I'm your host, Vivian, obviously, and this is my podcast where the title really doesn't make sense, so neither does this podcast. And welcome back to another episode. Just to start off really quick, is anybody else has just that Lady Gaga song just stuck in their head so bad? All I'm ever doing is like, oh my gosh, it's literally, I saw somebody on TikTok say recession pop is back, and I'm like, yes, but also no. I was a child during the last recession. I'm an adult now. I don't want to do that. But if it means we get a house, I'm down. Anyways, I have a few things I kind of want to talk about. I do have another book review that I will get to towards the end. But just like everybody else, I was sitting on this very couch and surrounded by my boyfriend's friends, and we were watching this freaking Super Bowl. Okay, so it's Chiefs versus Eagles. If you really don't know much about football, I am not the place to come to, or the person to come to ask about that kind of stuff. I only recently got into football. I've watched football before. My dad was a really big Cowboys fan. I used to live in Dallas, so like that was just a given. And I would sit and watch few, like the Thanksgiving games and Christmas games and stuff like that, but I never really fully paid attention. And I will say, I hopped on that bandwagon when I saw that Taylor Swift was dating Travis Kelce, and I was like, I get to see more of her besides in like those tiny little live streams on your phone. Yeah. Oh, speaking of phone. Guess who's not using her phone anymore? It's Mike. Me. I was having trouble with my mic on my last episode, so my boyfriend literally was like, just go use my mic that I use for gaming. And so now I have this really cool, sick mic, and I hope it makes, and I'm pretty sure it sounds so much better than it was sounding before, so if you're listening to this on audio, you just got an upgrade. But basically, we were watching the game, and I was only rooting for the Chiefs because, Taylor Swift, and also because they had been a pretty decent team. I watched their last game when they won the last Super Bowl, so I was really excited to see them again. We watched them when they played against the Texans, obviously, because that's my boyfriend's number one football team. And when they lost to the Chiefs, he was like, let's just root for the Chiefs because duh. They're really good. They're really cool. We'll might as well go for them. And we were a divided house. There were a lot of people here who wanted the Eagles to win. And this was the first time so I have this superstition with myself that anytime that me personally, I know the world does not revolve around me, and there was extenuating circumstances to why the Chiefs lost, but every time I went to a homecoming game in high school and I wore my school colors or my school shirts or whatever, we lost. And the one year that I didn't go, they won. Just saying. I don't know anything after I had graduated because I left that town a long time ago. I didn't really care for my college football team. We didn't go D1 until literally my junior year, so I didn't really give any craps about my school football team. I went to one football game. That was it. And they lost. LOL. But the last time I had wore a team jersey, they were losing. And it was the Astros when they were at the World Series. So I literally was like, or the World Series game before they went to the World Series or something like that. I don't know. And they lost because I was wearing their jersey. So I was like, I'm done with that. Did the same thing. I was like, you know what? The Chiefs are so good. They've apparently been playing such a really good season. And I had not known anything about the Philadelphia Eagles. I only knew about them because of the last time that I knew that they beat the Eagles, one of the Super Bowls that I remember seeing all the edits about. So that's how I knew about the Eagles, but I did not know they were fierce. I know that's crazy to say, but they had also, all of them players, fine. gorgeous, delicious looking men. I literally was like, it was so crazy seeing how handsome they were. And they all like, anyways, so I know very limited things about what's going on in a football game. I know enough to like get the gist of like where the ball's going and what just happened. Sometimes I have to have my boyfriend explain, and he does. So when I was noticing that Mahomes just kept letting himself get tackled over and over and over again, I was like, he's throwing. There is no way that this guy, who literally can like come back from nothing, hadn't scored a single point in the entire like first half of the game. Are you serious? There was some voodoo going on. I don't know who paid the refs more, but or which was out there making sure that the Chiefs lost. You did your job, girl. I hope you got your $30. And also something I really noticed about that game was there were so many ads about gambling before and after the game. It was so crazy. And it's just like, how are people gambling when the state of the economy is so bad right now? It's like, yes, gambling's fun and it gives people like adrenaline, but it is an addiction. They literally have it slapped all over every single freaking commercial I saw. Addicted to gambling? Call this toll free. Huh? So you know what you're doing is bad. It's just like those tobacco commercials back in the day, or the vape ads and all that stuff that used to happen. Like, oh my gosh, stop. So frustrating watching all of that. Also, the Super Bowl ads this year, lame. Also, I called it. I had saw a TikTok about the puppy monkey baby thing. I literally was talking to my boyfriend's friend, and I literally was like, because he had talked about the commercials and was like, I wonder what they're going to be like. And I said, oh, I just saw this 2016 one about the puppy the puppy monkey baby, and he did the like sound or whatever, and then it came up. They had brought him back for like half a second in one of the commercials, and we literally looked at each other like, it was so funny. But the rest of the commercials were lame. There was nothing fun. I think the only one that like reminded me of like Super Bowl commercials was the Coffee Mate one. I think that's who it was, the one with the tongues. That was freaky. That was weird. Next. But I feel like that one only had the true essence of a Super Bowl commercial, and also the Doritos one where I think it was the one where they like got to enter a competition online or on TikTok or something like that and submitted their videos for the Super Bowl. We only saw one, and I thought there was going to be more, so they couldn't shell out another $8 million. Sorry, like I said, if I talk too fast, I burp. But anyways, the game was really... It wasn't entertaining. I feel like it was just a bunch of people just bashing the Chiefs the entire time. And that makes sense. And also I feel like that could have played into what was going on with their mentality and stuff. I think they really went in there feeling like they were on top of the world because they had a continuous winning streak, from what I understand from the little research I did before today. But they were pretty much undefeated for a while. They did really, really good this season. So I think they went into there way too cocky and didn't really look into the Eagles and their systems and their plays and things like that, because the Eagles, wiped the floor with the Chiefs. The Chiefs. Exactly. Cheap. With the Chiefs. But they, like, wiped the floor with them. They, like, completely took over their entire, like, they didn't get any plays in, and it was so crazy to watch. Especially because half the time, like I was going to say, Mahomes just, like, never threw the ball. Never. And when he did, he threw it at the Eagles. And they caught it. Because, duh! But towards the end, when they were getting like some points back and they were getting some touchdowns in. It was just like, why weren't you doing that earlier? You obviously have the, like, not the training, but, like, you have an idea of how to get back. And, like, my boyfriend kept saying the Chiefs are a second half team. Like, they come back. They're a comeback team. And I was like, yeah, I think they are, because they were, but it was in, like, the last, like, 5 minutes of the quarter or whatever. I don't remember. I could be saying all this random stuff and it not actually make any sense. But anyways, at first, let's move on from the game, because I only know a limited knowledge. Just really sad that Mahomes was just not Mahoming. He just was not cutting it out for me. But the halftime show, I only know, like, few songs from Kendrick Lamar. Obviously, like, Humble and, like, the diss track, and obviously the Taylor Swift song that he was on. So I didn't really go in expecting a lot. I knew the song that he had with SZA. The two that he sang, I did know with her. But okay. So, obviously, everybody and their mama know about the Drake and Kendrick beef and, like, their diss tracks towards each other and all that stuff. So, I wasn't really... A lot of people, I would say, weren't surprised that he did Not Like Us. I was like, it's a five Grammy awarded song. Like, that song won 5 Grammys. Why wouldn't he perform it at the Super Bowl? Like, come on, you guys. And again, this was another house divided. There were some people who really liked Kendrick, and there were some people who were diehard Drake fans. So it was kind of awkward. That Super Bowl performance was very silent in my house. Mostly because after I did a little, like, research on it and, like, figured out what songs he, like, specifically sang, I thought it was a really powerful move from him, especially having the orange guy sitting upstairs. It was really, really political, and that's something that I enjoy from Kendrick, that he just did it. He didn't care. He did it. He knew that this is what the people needed to hear. So that's why I thought it was boring at first, I'd be honest. Me and my boyfriend complained about it. We were like, this is so boring. And also, I had mentioned before, I was like, half of the time the Super Bowl halftime show is meant to, like, not reinstate, but, like, reignite the popularity in that artist. And I just feel like Kendrick wasn't the right choice. But I digress. I really do think that his performance was really powerful. Reading the lyrics and fully understanding what he was saying, because I didn't know any of those songs, unfortunately. I don't listen to rap like that. I'm not a rap connoisseur, I guess you could say. So I didn't really understand some of the words he was saying, but after I read through, like, somebody had put a list of what songs he sang, so I kind of read through the lyrics, and I fully understood what he was going for with that performance, and I thought it was so beautiful. I loved the imagery that he had with his performers, and the dancers was so good. SZA looked amazing. I was so shocked when I saw Serena Williams. I was like, what the hell is she doing there? And then I found out that she also has beef with Drake, and I was like, oh my god. But I thought it was a really good performance after the fact, after I did a little bit more research and understanding of what went into the performance and the imagery and the culture that was embedded in it. So I really enjoyed it. Is it my top performance? No. But do I think it was, like, perfect for the state of what the world is in right now? I thought it was really, really, really impactful. Sorry. I know that a lot of people go into the Super Bowl not wanting to think about politics and stuff like that, but they made it political when they showed Trump. Just saying. But that was how I spent my Sunday. We had a lot of fun. His friends were over. We all just kind of chatted, and yeah, it was very underwhelming. It felt very representative of how this year has felt up to this point. Very just unforgiving and just, like, not fun. So I hope that whatever comes up next, because I don't know what's coming up next in award seasons. I know for my musical theater people out there, the Tonys have a few good shows out there right now, so I might do a little something on the Tony Awards. Sorry. But I might not. I'm not really into musical theater as of late. I'm stuck in my old ways. I love the older stuff. I have not listened to anything new lately. Like, the most recent musical that I listened to, like, fully and was, like, obsessed with was Hadestown. And that was back in, like, 2019. So, yeah. Anyways, how far are we into this? Only 15 minutes. I feel like I was yapping forever. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going. I read this book less than a week ago, I'm pretty sure. But this book helped me get out of my slump, I guess you could say. Because I was in a really big reading slump for a while. I think I was going on my third week, and that's the longest I've gone this year, obviously, because I was in a really bigger reading slump right before my best friend's wedding. So I was just not reading because I was like, she's getting married. But I recently just read this book, and I really thoroughly, I ate this book up. If I literally could go back and read it from the very beginning over and over again, I would, because this book was so... Okay, so the book was called Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I had made a video about people helping me pick the book to read, and it had been this one and another book. And this book was the only one that people commented to say to read, so I was like, you know what, I'll pick it up. So a few days later, I picked it up, and I consumed this book. I was engulfed in it. I was so... Oh my gosh. So this book is about a woman, Laurel, whose daughter essentially was, kidnapped and unfortunately murdered. And this book was about her coming to terms with it and her grief. And there's a huge, crazy plot twist that you can see coming from a mile away. But I had become accustomed to doing that to myself when I'm reading. I will try to guess the plot beforehand and, be like, oh, well, I already put two and two together, so obviously that's what's going to happen. And so it really just, takes me out of the book. And something I wanted to stop doing that this year was that. So the whole time I was like, there's no way. No. And for a long time I thought it was going to be something else too. I thought she was going to get murdered and that she was going to have to find her, or that the daughter was still alive and that the daughter's point of view was going to be her finding her way back home, and eventually kind of reminiscent of a book I read last year called The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. So I kind of was stapling that into this book in hopes that it would have that sort of ending, and it did not. This book made me cry so hard. And most books do make me cry because I am a crier. I'm a big baby. I'm a crybaby. I've said this to so many people. I got the Crybaby Award, I'm pretty sure, or something of that title in pre-K or kindergarten, and I think that kind of just stuck with me. That's a personality trait I have. So this book made me sob, mostly from the point of view of the daughter and of the mother's grief, because for a long time I didn't really have the best relationship with my mom. And we have been slowly rebuilding that relationship brick by brick the past few years. So reading this book just really hit home for me, because struggling with that stuff with my mom. So I really wanted to just be After this book was over, I kind of just wanted to be like, oh, I miss my mom. Because the mother is so strong and so brave, and she was not being used because the man did truly love her, I guess. There's no spoilers that I'm saying, genuinely. Like, this is just part of the book. Because obviously she does get murdered. Well, some people, it's literally called Then She Was Gone, so I hope people don't get mad about that. Also, this book has been out for a while. Anyways, back to it. But I really related to some of the characters, especially the middle child. I'm a middle child myself. I'm the middle of two sisters. So I've been like, you know, so when she was trying to connect with that daughter who hadn't gone missing, it just felt very reminiscent of like the first few years of me and my mom trying to reconnect and get to know each other again. So it was like both like, it's not the word nostalgic, I guess more cathartic. I don't really know. But I really like this book. The ending ripped me to my core, like genuinely made me so... I was literally sitting on that part of the couch, like right there, crying, sobbing my eyes out, because this book hit me like a ton of bricks at the end. Just because how it went for the daughter, and then the mother never getting the full extent of the closure she deserved, but getting the biggest thing she could possibly get back from her daughter was gut-wrenching. So gut-wrenching. And I gave this book 5 stars. I give out 5 stars very generously because I'm such a empathetic reader. I'm somebody who cares if I give it 5 stars or 4 stars or 3 stars? It doesn't matter. It's my rating. If somebody really cares about it, I will tell them about it, and I'll be like, yeah, I thought it was 5 stars. If you don't, that's okay too. But I gave this book 5 stars. It's my first 5-star of the year. And I will probably be giving out a billion more because I love books. But if you do get the chance to read this book, I highly, highly recommend it. Mostly because I just feel like it's such a good book. So many people were ripping it to shreds. Let me get into this really fast. Goodreads people are so mean. They don't care. They don't care. I feel like they only do reviews to be mean. Sorry, not sorry. Because I had finished reading this book and it completely like just shattered me. It was such a good book. I felt so like, you know, like it was a very, very engrossing book, and I finished it in a day. Most people can finish a book this size. It's only, I think, 340-ish, 350 pages. So not that much for an average person or an avid book reader. So when I went on to make my little review on it, because then it impacted me so much, I barely ever do reviews on Goodreads. It's kind of just my tracker. So I went and I was like, oh, maybe other people felt the same way I did. I wanted to see what other people were saying about this book. I'm so sorry. I need to learn how to slow down and take my time talking. I went on to read the reviews, and they were so mean about this book. I thought it was so predictable. I saw that twist coming from miles away. I can't believe people actually rated this book so high. I knew it was going to happen as soon as... Then why did you keep reading it? Then why did you pick it up? Quickly. Like, come on, you guys. And I saw a TikTok about this girl talking about it too. And I was like very assured in me being like, okay, so I'm not going to read the Goodreads reviews unless I also don't like the book. And imagine the one time I do that, everybody's like, oh, this is the most amazing book I've ever freaking read in my whole life. And I'm just like, oh, is it just me at this point? But read that book. So impactful, so good. I loved it. I loved the characters. I love the storyline. Yes, it is a little predictable, but if you just like throw that thought away and just kept reading the book, it kind of takes you all over the place. I felt like I was on a roller coaster half the time because I had fully convinced myself that I had figured it out and I knew who it was and what had happened, and that's not what happened at all. I had genuinely shocked myself, and it was so brilliant. I think she has other books, so if she does, I might pick up a few more of hers after I read at least half of my TBR, because it is chocked full of books. And then I went ahead and read a book, or listened to a book that wasn't even on there at all. That's just me, you guys. So, anyways, hold on. Sorry. I had a lot of fun reading this book, and then I had completely shifted gears on my next book. And it was, sorry, I really think I'm about to sneeze again. Hold on. No, okay, I'm good. But the very next book I read was, I don't even, girl, I don't even know how to describe it. Most people describe it as a dark romance book. It's called Lights Out by Nevessa Allen, who was a TikTok person, which I did not know. It's a TikTok book. Yeah, a TikTok book. She made a TikTok about the plot, and then wrote the book, and then, like, became a bestseller. I was like, huh? What? This crazy. Crazy work. But I read it. I finished it last night. Or I almost finished it last night, but I finished it this morning, when I'm recording this podcast. And it was good. Was it a little sketchy at points? Because okay, so the plot basically is he stalks her, they fall in love, they kill a man. But they can get away with it. Because of reasons. I really liked it. I thought it's very, very graphic. I will have to say that. I was listening to it on my phone, and then I was like, oh. So I had to put headphones in, because I felt like my cat was like, what are you doing, Nasty? What are you listening to, Nasty? And then I switched over to reading it, because I was like, I can't do this! I thought it was really good. I liked their storyline. I kept having to remind myself, I was like, this is fake. These are fake people. This is in a world where all of this makes sense. It is okay that he stalks her and breaks into her house. Like, that's okay. Because it's a book. Because if that was real life, then he'd be in jail and she would be on the news being like, ladies, remember to lock your kids, lock your car, lock your doors, that kind of stuff. So I think that's what helped me continue to read the book, because I was like, it's a book. It's fake. It's literally made to entertain women, and that's okay. I can enjoy a spicy book. I can, because I am 26 years old, and that's just what I get to do. I'm an adult. So I really liked it. I would give it 3 stars, mostly because I didn't really like some of the... I think it should have ended a lot earlier than it did. I had finished reading a chapter, and I was like, oh, that's the end, yay! Then I was like, why is there 4 more chapters? It should have ended a lot earlier. I feel like it just accentuated the plot a lot longer than it needed to, and it felt like she just needed an extra few chapters to get a little bit more money, which I don't care, girl. Get your bag. She is coming out with a second book, but it's not about the 2 characters, Allie and Josh. It's about 2 other ones. Don't know if I'm going to read it just because I have other books, and there are a few more like spicy romance books that I want to read. Just not yet. I want to get through the books that I have. I have so many books. I think I have like, I could check Goodreads right now, and it's probably in the double digits of the books that I want to read. Yeah, I want to read 29 books. And I'm pretty sure 5 of them are a series, and 3 are in a series. So, I have a lot of books to get through. And I think, and something I keep having to remind myself is I keep seeing videos of people being like, I read 500 pages today, and I read another 200. Huh? I usually spend most of my time just like doing this. Sorry. It's like raining really bad right now. I wish I could show you. But it's raining really bad, so if you can hear that, it's just the rain. But seeing all those people like reading at least that many freaking pages in a day is crazy to me. Because sometimes I can read at least one book throughout the night. As my boyfriend and I have this system. He comes home from work on Fridays. We say hi. We eat dinner together. We watch a little bit, an episode or 2, Criminal Minds. We say bye. He goes play games. I go read a book. We come back at night. He'll just come and check on me, and I'm like, I'm going to sleep. And he's like, hey, bye. And he'll play for however long he wants. So that's like a really good system we have. So most of the time I wait for that time of the week to read. And then I'll read throughout the week, obviously, because I'm unemployed and I don't really have a lot to do. So I've just been like, sometimes I don't want to read, and I feel like that's okay. Reading isn't meant to be a sport. Reading is a hobby, is an activity. So, at least for me, there are some people who genuinely do it as a career, and that is something I hope and pray I can achieve with this channel. But, yeah, I've already read 2 books so far in February, so I'm really, really proud of myself. I only read 3 out of the 5 book goal I had in January, so I feel like I'm in a good rhythm of getting back into books. Or reading books as often as I used to. I used to read at least like 6 books. But that's also when I was reading the Percy Jackson series, and I was just, I could not get enough of that series. And I feel like I might pick up the 2 in the, oh my gosh, I forget what it is. It's the Trials of Olympus or something like that. The 2 about Percy trying to get into college. So I might be reading those 2, because I know the 3rd one's supposed to be coming out next year. Pretty sure. I hope. But anyways, I have a lot of books to read. And so I'm going to go and try and do that. I know this is a little bit of a shorter or maybe even longer podcast, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. I know it was me just talking about football and a really sad book, but I feel like that's just who I am and this is how I normally would talk to my friends, who I miss so freaking much. And I think that's something I'm trying to deal with on my own and cope with, is the fact that I'm still so far away from my friends. And so I'm also kind of posting these videos for them, because I'm not a very good texter. I don't know why. I literally could sit there and be like, oh, I need to text her back. And I just never reply. Until one of them messages me and they're like, hey, please say something back. And I'm like, oh. So, anyways, if you are a friend of mine who's watching this video just to get caught up with me, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys, and I love you guys so much. But that's all for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Yeah.